Jake Paul recently made a blunt claim that's now dominating wrestling headlines. He says he's banned from WWE. In a recent interview, when asked about a potential return to WWE, Jake responded plainly. According to him, WWE has shut the door completely. He didn't give reasons, but made it clear he believes the company won't allow him back. He didn't mention Triple H, Vince McMahon, or any specific name, just they, as in WWE. That vague response is now fueling a much bigger conversation about what really happened behind the scenes. Let's go back to when Jake actually appeared in WWE. It was 2022 at Crown Jewel. His brother, Logan Paul, was headlining against Roman Reigns. Jake made a run-in toward the end of the match, throwing a few punches and helping Logan fight off the bloodline. The crowd was loud. The internet lit up. So WWE leaned into the viral attention, and then nothing, no follow-up, no storyline continuation, no mention of Jake on TV. Logan stuck around and kept wrestling. Jake vanished. Fans assumed he'd return at some point, maybe for a tag match, a WrestleMania spot, or some build-up with Logan, but it never happened. Now, 2 years later, Jake says WWE doesn't want him back at all, and the reason might not have anything to do with what he did in the ring. One of the loudest ongoing beefs in combat sports over the past few years has been Jake Paul versus UFC President Dana White. Jake's gone after him repeatedly, on YouTube, on social media, in interviews, accusing Dana of underpaying fighters and running a broken system. He's called him out by name. He's insulted the UFC business model. He's even brought up fighter healthcare and unionization. But here's the twist. WWE and UFC are now owned by the same company, TKO under Endeavor. So when Jake publicly attacks Dana White, he's not just going after UFC anymore, he's attacking one half of WWE's parent company. From a corporate perspective, that creates a conflict. And it's the kind of conflict WWE doesn't like to mess with, especially under the new regime where Endeavor is calling the bigger business shots. Jake may not be banned for anything he did in the WWE ring. He might be banned for what he said about UFC leadership that's now also tied to WWE. This isn't personal heat, this is business politics. Since Logan Paul entered WWE, he's been on fire. Main events, WrestleMania matches, the US Championship, premium live events, big spots. WWE uses Logan all the time. They promote him like crazy. They trust him with live TV, big crowds, and storylines. But Jake never got that same energy. Even after Crown Jewel, WWE never referenced Jake in any major way. Logan didn't bring him up in promos. Commentators didn't drop his name. No social media teases. Nothing. Which is weird because using a famous brother tag team angle would have been easy money. But they didn't even try. And now if Jake's telling the truth, it all adds up. WWE didn't just ignore him. They shut the door completely. When asked about his future with WWE during a recent media appearance, Jake Paul stated that WWE has essentially banned him. He didn't explain when this happened, who made the decision, or what specifically triggered it. He simply said the company isn't allowing him back in. It wasn't said with anger. It wasn't part of a staged interview. It came off as casual but direct. The lack of detail only made fans more suspicious. No statement from WWE, no denial. Just Jake casually announcing he's no longer welcome. For someone who's part of one of the most famous brother duos in combat sports, it felt like an odd way to end a relationship with one of the biggest wrestling companies in the world. WWE hasn't said a single word about Jake Paul's claim. No clarification, no PR comment, no mention in media calls or interviews. They didn't even acknowledge the headline after it went viral. This silence is what keeps the story alive. If it wasn't true, WWE could have shut it down instantly. One tweet, one short comment from a spokesperson, done. But they stayed quiet and fans noticed. It suggests that either WWE doesn't want to give Jake more attention or there's truth to his claim and the company would rather keep it buried. Either way, the result is the same. Fans are more curious than ever. Let's not forget, Jake Paul isn't exactly a company man. He likes stirring things up. He builds hype by causing controversy. He says whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and lets the internet run with it. And that attitude doesn't always fit inside WWE. They like control, structure, predictability. Even the chaos is scripted. Jake is none of that. And while Logan has adapted well, taking notes, respecting the backstage system, Jake still acts like an outsider. He doesn't need WWE to sell tickets. He doesn't follow their rules. From WWE's perspective, that's a risk. A loose cannon on live TV? Not worth it. Especially when you've already got the other Paul brother doing everything they want. Here's another angle. Jake Paul knows how to generate interest. If he wanted to headline a story cycle without ever booking a match, he just did it. One sentence, "I'm banned," and every wrestling outlet covered it. Whether it's true or not doesn't even matter right now. He got the buzz. Fans are tweeting. YouTubers are covering it. WWE is being pressured to respond, all without a single move from a ring. And if this is Jake's way of teasing a future comeback, he's already won. He has the audience's attention. Now all he needs is the right moment to flip the narrative. Logan Paul is deep into WWE right now. He's been successful. He's building heat. He could be champion again by next year's WrestleMania. What if WWE is planning a twist? What if Jake Paul isn't banned at all, but being saved for a massive return, a surprise appearance, a run-in, a last-minute tag team moment that breaks the internet? Jake says he's banned. Fans believe it. WWE stays quiet. Then bam, WrestleMania shocker. Logan needs help. Jake's music hits. Crowd loses it. Internet explodes. WWE owns the news cycle. If that's the play, it's brilliant. And if it's not, Jake still won because we're all talking about him. WWE has evolved. It's no longer just about what happens in the ring. Every move is calculated, every guest appearance is vetted, and every partnership is aligned with brand safety, especially under Endeavor. Jake Paul brings controversy. That's his brand, and that's exactly why WWE might see him as a liability. He's not afraid to call out executives, start beefs, or go completely off script. In WWE's tightly controlled world, that's dangerous. It's not just about his behavior, it's about unpredictability. A single unscripted sentence from Jake could derail an entire storyline or trigger corporate backlash. So rather than take the risk, WWE may have quietly put a stop to any future involvement. Not because they hate Jake, but because he's not controllable enough to fit their ecosystem anymore. This situation says a lot more about WWE than it does about Jake. This is the same company that used to thrive on chaos, attitude, shock value, controversy. But in 2025, that's changed. WWE is now polished, PR-driven, and part of a publicly traded empire. They're thinking about brand deals, shareholders, and global media partnerships. And someone like Jake, who still operates in internet chaos mode, might clash with that vision. This ban, if real, could be less about punishment and more about branding. WWE wants influencers, but only the kind they can control. Realistically, never say never. WWE has brought back people they've banned before. Real-life beefs turn into money angles all the time. If the buzz is strong enough, WWE knows how to flip the narrative. The only question is whether the risk still outweighs the reward. Jake brings attention, but does he bring longevity? Can he show up for weekly storylines, respect creative, and work inside the system? If the answer is yes, maybe WWE reconsiders. If not, this ban might quietly stick. But again, this is pro wrestling. Banned usually just means we'll talk later. This entire situation is bigger than Jake Paul. It's about how WWE handles outsiders in this new era. It's about how UFC, WWE politics are starting to bleed together. It's about how the lines between real life and kayfabe are blurrier than ever. Jake didn't cut a promo. He didn't start a feud. He just made a casual claim and hijacked the entire WWE conversation. And whether he's banned or not, he just reminded everyone of one thing. He's still a headline machine. So, is Jake Paul really banned from WWE? Or is this another one of his genius marketing moves? Should WWE ever let him back in? Or is this the one guy even Triple H doesn't want in the building? Let me know what you think in the comments. Was this the right move or a missed opportunity? If you found this breakdown eye-opening, hit the like button and make sure to subscribe for more real WWE stories the big outlets won't touch. New videos every day. See you in the next one.